Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to go out front of my house. I hope all of you can hear me because it's really windy here in Maryland. If you're on the East Coast, you know it's been raining for the past week and a half, 2 weeks. Today I decided to make a video, more of a heart-to-heart talk, me being transparent, me being open with you guys. Basically the video will be about why I will never compete in a bikini show ever again. Why I will never do another, basically an aesthetics competition. NPC, OCB, WNBF, why I will never do another one. Basically giving a little bit of background. I do have a history with eating disorders, anorexia. I did deal with binge eating when I was getting better from anorexia. I dealt with symptoms of orthorexia. But let me kind of go back. When I decided to do my first prep a year ago in April of 2015, I competed in August of 2015 at the end of August. I wanted to do a show as a challenge to myself, to push myself farther than I've ever pushed myself before. I wanted to see if I could actually do it. I was seeing it all over Instagram and Facebook and all over different social medias, and I love fitness. I love eating healthy. I love being healthy. I love being active. I love being in this industry. And so I was like, well, you know what, I'm going to get a coach and I'm going to do a show. And that's what I did. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I had no idea. I didn't think to do research, and I hired a local coach because that's what I was told. I was told you need a local coach. I had an online coach who was all the way halfway across, but I was told no, to do a show, it's better if you get one local. But she still ended up being an online coach anyway. I only saw her one time, close with her once. And she was a cookie cutter coach. I was on a cookie cutter meal plan. I was on a cookie cutter exercise plan. I found out afterwards nothing was customized, and I was very, very restricted. I was on basically the bro diet of eating clean. And I had one cheat day if my coach felt that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, my body was responding how she thought it should respond. And so that's what I did for about 6 to 8 months roughly. I was on a pretty long prep. I prepped for the longest amount of time that you can do. I was originally supposed to compete in October. I started my prep. I started getting serious in the gym in January, meal prepping, changing over the way I ate. And then in April I decided I was going to do a show. So I got a coach. I started prepping then. And I'm going to do a show in October, but I was tightening up nicely, and it's windy. I was tightening up and I was coming in early, so we decided to do the show in August, and I did the show at the end of August. Well, come to find out, during my prep, because I was very, very restricted, I started tracking my intake probably about February, March. So I started tracking my macros, and then when I got the meal plan, she was like, I'm a very traditional coach. I don't do macro tracking. I don't do carb cycling. So I did not carb cycle at all. My intake, I started out eating 160 grams of carbs, 30 grams of fat, and I was on 200 grams of protein. And then by the time I competed, I was, the week before peak week, I was at roughly about 100 to 120 grams of carbs, 15 to 20 grams of fat, and still did about 200 grams of protein. Peak week, I was eating maybe it's even like grams of carbs a day. It's even that. The only thing I ate on the Eat Week was fish and asparagus. The only thing I ate on the Eat Week. Fish has no carbs. Asparagus had like 2 carbs. So, and I ate that 6 times a day. So, yeah, I was on 12 grams of carbs. I was only eating 15 grams of fat that week. And I was still on at least 150 grams of protein. Well, afterwards I had so many struggles, so many issues. I feared food I didn't want to eat. It was between I didn't want to eat and I was scared to eat. All I knew was restriction. I had a macro coach and I was doing macros and I was learning flexible dieting. I did a lot of research during my prep. I did research on carb cycling, flexible dieting, reverse dieting. Thankfully, for post-show, I started with Amanda Bucci, and she was great. She was wonderful. She taught me a lot, and she put up with a lot. But post-show, I was doing great for about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, and then all of a sudden, my body was so incredibly deprived. I started binge eating, and then it went from my body needed it to I created the habit, and then thankfully I'm binge free. By the way, I'm binge free for a month. I know it's nothing special, but I've been binge free for 1 whole month. Woo! But I had to deal with a lot of issues. I had to rebeat my anorexia. I had to deal with symptoms of orthorexia, and I had to get over binge eating. Well, I kept going back and forth between, do I want to do another show? Am I going to do another show? Is this for me? Anytime I tried to prep, my body did not want to. It would revolt against me. My brain would freak out. My body would freak out. I couldn't do it. So, a couple weeks ago, I decided, you know what, I was like, you know what, no, we're just going to prep. We're just going to do a prep. So, went into prep. 11 weeks out, went into prep. First 3 weeks, more like the first week and a half to 2 weeks, my body was responding how it should. I was dropping weight. I got under 130 pounds. I was at about 120 pounds. And then all of a sudden, my body started to go the other way. And I know when it's under stress, it will hold water and it will go the other way. But I noticed instead of dropping weight and dropping fat, my body was going the other way. It was gaining. I was gaining weight, gaining fat. And I went from 128 pounds, where I dropped about 1% to 2% in body fat, and I was at 128 pounds. My body fat percentage started to go back up. My weight started to go back up. And I started to get those thoughts in my head again, the disordered eating thoughts in my head. I felt like I was not good enough. I felt like, but my body's not responding the way it should. I'm not good enough. Despite what my coach was telling me, I was slashing, trying to cut down my macros more. I was trying to dig deeper. I started to increase my cardio to get my body to respond, and it was not responding. And thoughts in my head were coming back. It's like I started to feel like I needed to isolate myself from my friends, from my family. I felt like I was not good enough at all. And text my friend Gina on Instagram. She's G Fitness Online. I text my friend Christina K. Matthewson on Instagram. And I was like, look, I'm not going to compete again, because I find myself restricting myself, depriving myself, afraid to eat something that might make me go over my macros, even though I want it, and then when I finally, camera cut off. I have not had a period for the past year. Have not had one for the past year. My body is very, very out of whack. My hormones have not stabilized at all. And, you know, eventually I want to get married and have kids, and what if this caused me to never be able to have kids? I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't want to have to worry about that. And the fact that it makes me restrict myself, it makes me deprive myself, it puts me in a bad place mentally, it makes me feel worthless, it makes me feel... Hey, sorry, so my camera cut out again, so I decided to change positions. I was in front of the house, now I went to the back of the house. But I was saying how, like, it just made me feel worthless, and I was just getting so down on myself if I was not perfect, if I did not feel like I was on point. It was taking me back to those restrictive thoughts, those thoughts of deprivation, those thoughts of not being good enough. Instead of loving myself, I found myself getting frustrated with myself and not enjoying the process, not enjoying my training, not enjoying just eating, not actually living life. Like there's so much more than just stepping on stage. And for me, I love fitness. I live the fitness lifestyle. I love training. I love lifting heavy. I love eating healthy. But if I want to say have a muffin or some sort of fun foods, I don't want to restrict myself. I don't want to not eat with my parents. I don't want to not go out with my friends. I don't want to not go out on dates. I want to be strong. I want to lift heavy. I don't want my lifts to suffer because I'm not eating enough to fuel it. I want my body to get back into balance. I want my period to come back, my hormones to stabilize, my hair to not fall out. I mean, I have certain parts of my hair, not so much where you can see right now, but like more so in the front, my hair is starting to fall out a little bit, not hugely, but I do take hair vitamins to help with that. But I want to be happy and healthy in all aspects, not just in my physical body, but in my mental, and to know that I am more than just a number on the scale. And it's like, and when I competed the first time, I thought that I would be so happy being stage lean and shredded, and come to find out, I was not any happier being stage lean, being shredded than I am now. Now I sit at about 130 pounds, and that's where my body likes to be. It does not want to be 115 pounds, absolutely shredded, 8% body fat. It doesn't want to be that. My body likes to do a nice slow and steady cut, and I do this for myself. No one else but myself. I lift for myself. I eat healthy for myself. So I'm going to continue just doing a regular summer cut. Increase my macros back up to where they should be to cut. I'm not going to disclose what they should be because I don't want somebody seeing them and thinking that they have to have those macros to cut. But I'm going to follow by the macros that I was given to cut at a slow, steady, healthier rate, and I'm going to continue this cut all throughout the summer with no end goal, and I'm going to cut until I want to end my cut and then reverse diet into a surplus so I can build more muscle. It's just about living the lifestyle and it's about working smarter, not harder. And it's about having balance between your food, lifting, and other aspects of your life. I'm trying to get into other stuff, like I love music, I love coloring and shading and drawing. I love to dance. I did that for years. I'm getting into gardening. I planted some flowers. I don't know if I already said that. But there's just so much more that I want to do, and I want to show people that you can be fit, you can be healthy, you can be lean all year round and not have to obsess over a number, that you don't have to have an end goal of stepping on stage. So you can be fit, healthy, and live the fitness lifestyle without competing. And obviously, you know, I don't have anything against competing. I think it's great. I think it's a great challenge. But I don't think it's meant for everyone, and I don't think it's meant for myself. It's not the path that I'm going, that I am destined to go down. It's not going to be my career path. It's not going to be what I am meant to do. It is not what I am meant to do. And eventually I'm going to transition away from macros to just eating intuitively and just listening to my body, just listening to myself, and knowing that my worth is so much more than the number on the scale. My worth is so much more than if a judge thinks my glutes are full enough, if I'm shredded enough. Because to me, I don't want to look back on my life and wish I would have done something. So I hope that this can help someone, anyone, or just show you that, you know what, I still struggle and that I was hiding behind a prep. Yes, I was hiding behind a prep, and now I'm going to face everything, face it head on, and truly just be happy, be healthy in all aspects. Lift because I love it. Eat not only to fuel my body, but for enjoyment. Do cardio just for cardiovascular health because I like the feeling of the movement. But let that just be one aspect of my life, one part of my life, and start venturing into other parts of my life. If you would like to see more videos like this, please give me a like and comment down below. Make sure to, again, like, share, and subscribe. And I will be back with another video very soon. Thank you all for listening to my ramble, and I hope that this ends up not being 40 minutes long. Hope everyone has a happy Sunday and happy Mother's Day. If you're watching this on Sunday, happy Mother's Day. If not, you might be watching this on Monday. I don't really know. But I hope you all have a wonderful day.